Well, my computer clock just turned to 3 o'clock. So in order to make best use of everyone's Friday afternoon, Patrick, if you don't mind,
Yes, bye. Bye.
check us on the attendance, if you don't mind, please.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. I'll be doing the roll call here. Harris County Commissioner Adrian Garcia. Chair Dr. Lewis is present.
Present.
Metro Chair Karen Patman. AGAC Executive Director Chuck Wemple.
Here, Patrick. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
Patrick, just to let you know, Tom Lambert's here, but I know Chair Patman's about to join in.
Thank you, Tom. Liberty County, Mr. David Douglas. City of Houston Council Member, David Robinson.
Here, Patrick.
Thank you, Council Member. TxDOT Houston District Engineer, Eliza Paul.
Hi, Patrick, I'm here.
Thank you. Fort Bend County Commissioner, Grady Prestige.
Present.
Thank you. City of Sugar Land Mayor, Joe Zimmerman.
Good afternoon, Patrick. I'm here.
Thank you, Mayor. Waller County Commissioner, Justin Beckendorf.
Happy New Year, everybody. I'm here.
Thank you, Commissioner. City of League City Council Member, Larry Milliken.
I'm present, sir.
Thank you, Council Member. Montgomery County Judge, Mark Keogh. City of Waller Council Member, Nancy Arnold. Port of Houston Executive Director, Roger Gunther.
Okay, just got a note. Adrian Garcia is running a little late.
Okay. Harris County Flood Control District, Russ Poppy.
Good afternoon. This is Alan Black on Russ Poppy's behalf.
Thank you, Alan. Ex officio member, Texas House of Representatives, Ed Thompson.
Okay. Do you mind if I listen to something, or would that be distracting? Yeah, it's fine. Okay. I'm on to start cooking, but I need to be listening to this meeting.
I'm just checking the number 1, 2.
Okay. While Patrick is checking that, if we could remind everyone, if you're not speaking, if you could remember to mute your mics for us, please, that would be appreciated.
So 9 out of 15, we do have a quorum, Dr. Lewis.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Just to bring us all up to date and make sure we remember, although I'm certain we do, we began this process back in August with the intent of developing a memorandum of understanding for our NHHIP project. Went through many iterations of conversations and edits, getting us to an October 9th document, which was distributed to each of the entities. Everyone came back with some edits. We then had our meeting in early December, where we were asking if TxDOT would be able to go back to our original background section. And so I think at this point, we recognize that that's probably not going to be possible. Given that, we want to, as we proceed today, ask if Mayor Zimmerman would give us a couple of options for going forward. Then we'll go to our public comments. And I understand there are a couple of comments that we want read, one from Executive Director Bass from TxDOT. Commissioner Ryan may wish to speak, and then we'll see if we have anyone else who would like to make comment into the record. And then we'll go ahead with the rest of our agenda from there. So first, Mayor Zimmerman, if you provide a couple of thoughts for us, please.
Dr. Lewis, public comments, if you would like us to initiate that. We did not receive any written public comments.
Okay.
So if we would like to invite members to see.
Patrick, I believe we're going to hear from our vice chair, Mayor Joe Zimmerman, first before we go to public comment, just to set the stage for today.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis, Chuck, Patrick. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to summarize where I think we are now, having heard a little bit from TxDOT, and I'll let Eliza and Commissioner Ryan speak for themselves. The marked up version of the document that we received from TxDOT, we had provided some comments back to TxDOT. Essentially, those comments were if we could remove that paragraph in background and go back to the original document, the one before they made comments on the other agency's scopes. We believe that we had something that we could agree to. I think a critical point in this is that's respecting the fact that the record of decision and the FEIS, TxDOT said all along that those have to be referenced in the document because of the law. So I believe we have two paths forward. We can go back, and I believe everybody is on board with the document before TxDOT marked it up. We'll call that, Patrick, I believe that's the 10/22/2020 document. Is that correct?
That is correct. So that is the date of listening session. So we presented that draft at the listening session.
Okay, and then the other path, I believe, if we can't agree, I think Dr. Lewis has done a phenomenal job of bringing us to where we are, but if we cannot agree to go back to that document, then I think where we go is we take that document, that 10/22 document that I referenced, we strike the signatory part of that. So there would be no signatories to that document. We wouldn't all try to work together, but there would be no formal signatures to that effect. And we'll then go back as the work group. What I propose is that we go back to the Transportation Policy Council as the work group and recommend that the Transportation Policy Council adopt that as an HGAC document. And then the Transportation Policy Council and HGAC will work together with all the agencies, that being the City of Houston, Harris County Flood Control District, and TxDOT, and to accomplish all that we've discussed, realizing that there's no formal memorandum of understanding in place, but that the willingness of the parties to cooperate with one another is still in the best interest of everybody, the public and the agencies at large. Dr. Lewis, that's kind of how I'd summarize it, how I'd propose that we move forward. I'm happy to answer any questions if people have it, or if you want to move forward with Eliza and Commissioner Ryan and get some other commentary, then we can come back to it.
I'd like to thank you so much, Mayor Zimmerman. I think you've laid it out for us. I would like to go ahead and get comments from Commissioner Ryan, Eliza, and have the item number 2 public comments, and then what your proposal is, we'll discuss under our section 3. So thank you. And Patrick, if you would like to, I don't know, Commissioner Ryan, if you'd like to speak next, we open the floor to you right now.
Thank you. Dr. Lewis, I appreciate that. And I really just want to reinforce, one, I appreciate the work that the committee's done on behalf of TxDOT. There's been a lot of time and effort. I agree with Mayor Zimmerman that Dr. Lewis has done a great job leading us to this point. That said, I also recognize that we may be at an impasse, and I'm hoping not. I am hoping that we have a productive meeting today, and that, as I've always said, we're able to find a win-win solution as we continue to move this project forward. It's a large project. We're a large and diverse region, and I do believe that it's going to take everybody and compromise on all parts to find a solution that works for everybody. So again, I'm going to reiterate that TxDOT's commitment to continue to work with all parties to find a solution to all parties and continue to be transparent and open as we go through this process. So I'm here today not as a member of the committee, but to continue to extend support and appreciation for the work that's getting done. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner. Patrick, there was something else I think we talked about. It was a statement from Executive Director Bass, and then something I believe from Harris County, maybe that was going to be read. Your mic is muted.
Would you like me to open those two documents, Madam Chair?
Please.
Yeah, Patrick, Madam Chair, is it appropriate for me to speak to the documents?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Joe summarized the process pretty well, that we were tasked to go back and relook at the red line that our TxDOT has redlined, the copy that has redlined after everybody marked up the area that we cannot live with. And there are some areas over there in the paragraph that we were asked to remove, and TxDOT look at those paragraphs which address the process of FEIS and ROD, and we determined that those paragraphs in the MOU is very important to TxDOT under the legal process that we have to abide by. We cannot change that requirement, and that's why the reason that paragraph needs to stay in there. And with that is really the most important point that we cannot agree on. I think there's a discrepancy on how we read the paragraph and how everybody else, the other agencies read that paragraph. So with that being an impasse, so TxDOT determined that we just cannot sign an MOU without that paragraph in there. So we talked to administration, and we also checked with our legal department, and what James Bass, and you can see this is a statement that James Bass wanted me to, and I would like to read it to everybody so that everybody understand where TxDOT's position is. So what he said is TxDOT remains committed to working with all the parties to ensure the successful delivery of NHHIP. To that end, TxDOT is happy to continue these discussions with language about the FEIS and the ROD continuing included in the background section of the MOU. Language that TxDOT has consistently advocated to be included in the proposed MOU. We feel that this language is crucial and necessary to ensure all parties are on the same page regarding many key issues, including the fact that TxDOT's legal responsibility for this project are ultimately defined and established by the FEIS and ROD. If the necessary language is not included in the MOU, TxDOT will not be able to be a party to the MOU. So that's the conclusions that we came to. So we're not able to do what was being requested by the different parties. So additionally, it now appears that one party to the proposed MOU has hired a law firm to take legal action against TxDOT once the ROD is issued. TxDOT therefore believes the MOU should include a provision that the MOU is terminated if one party sues another over this project. So Patrick, can you pull out the second attachment that is in the on the top of the second page. Yeah, this is what was approved by the Harris County Court this week to retain a law firm to look into taking. I'm not going to read it, but you know, and y'all can read it for yourself too, to take legal actions upon issuance of the record of decision for the NHHIP by the Texas Department of Transportation. So with that, in addition to TxDOT just cannot see a way that we can continue to progress with the MOU and be a party that we can sign on that document.
All right. Thank you for that. And we'll consider that input in, Ms. Paul, for now. And Patrick, I think if we go ahead with item number 2, opening for other public comments.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. So we did not receive any written comments. I just wanted to let everyone know that we have language interpreters, Bethany and Liz here, who are providing language interpretation in one of the windows. You could pin the both, right now Bethany is providing that. So Bethany's window, if you're using this service, or if you have any special needs, let us know and we can assist you in watching Bethany's interpretation. Also, we have a Spanish interpreter, Ms. Lourdes, on the in the call as well. Lourdes, if you're present, please let us know that you're present.
I'm present, Patrick. I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. So now at this point, we'll be inviting public comments. If anyone would like to make a public comment, raise your hand if you're on the Zoom link. If you're calling in through a phone, please press *9 so that we can see that you have raised hand, and then we can invite you to make public comments. So right now I do see Mr. Peters. So please unmute yourself and you should be able to make a comment.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's had an okay New Year so far. I'm Ben Peters. I'm with TxDOT I-45. The reason I think that I just wanted to bring up, like, the reason that we wanted to advocate for having a memorandum of understanding for the first place, and why I would also, and I do also support Harris County retaining legal assistance, is the state agency, TxDOT, has not been responsive to public input. The city of Houston, Harris County, members of the public, members of many different community advocacy groups have all provided a lot of input to this project. That input is not reflected in the FEIS. We wouldn't be advocating so hard for other avenues of public engagement or other avenues to be able to have our voices heard if TxDOT incorporated our input into their documentation. And that's the issue. The issue is not what procedure, and what is the language of the agreement. The problem is the project is not responsive to the city or the county, members of Houston, members of the community. And I think that we need to keep that in sight as we're working through this. Like, if TxDOT, if the decision is made to update the FEIS or do a revision of the FEIS that incorporates the different alternatives that have been proposed by the city of Houston, I think that we're not going to be fighting about this language as much. The reason that we're fighting on this language is because the FEIS is deficient. And I don't think that we're going to have any choice but to oppose this project and ask that our representatives oppose this project until we feel like it's actually responsive to the constituency. That's it. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Patrick, is there anyone else?
I'm not seeing anybody, Patrick.
I do
Right,
not
yeah,
see any
Dave.
raised hands. If there's anyone who would like to unmute yourself and indicate if you would like to make a comment. I see Neil Ehart would like to make a comment, so please proceed, Neil.
Hi. Yes, good afternoon, committee. Thanks for having us here. I do. I want to echo what Ben is saying. I think you know, we've worked really hard to try to come up with a memorandum to tease out what it is that all the parties want, and the FEIS is too far removed from that, and unless we can get a new environmental process for a different take on what to do with this corridor, it's going to be really challenging to get something that benefits us. So yeah, thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to raise hand or speak at this point?
Patrick, no comment. This is Commissioner Garcia. Just want to make sure that the record reflects that I'm on the meeting.
Commissioner, we can barely hear you. Can you?
Commissioner Garcia, and
yes.
I just want to make sure that I am reflected as
Oh,
attending the meeting.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I do not see anyone else who has raised hand or would like to make a comment. So we can proceed to the next item.
All right. Well, we thank each of you who has commented this afternoon. Thank you, Commissioner Ryan, Eliza, and Mr. Peters and Mr. Earhart. And we have, again, as we kind of mentioned before, heard comments before, and we will continue through the process.
Madam Chair?
Yes, just a second, Commissioner. Yes, I'll acknowledge you just 1 second, but I want to make sure that our public knows that we will continue to have opportunities for public comment as we go through the project. Whether we have a signed MOU or whether it's HGAC and the TPC monitoring the project throughout, we will continue to have opportunities for the public to speak. Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just for, just to respond to Eliza's comments, I want to make sure that I'm clear that yes, Harris County did retain legal counsel. It is not accurate, nor is it the intentions to file a lawsuit against TxDOT. Rather, we need legal experts to help guide us on the FEIS and on NIPA. And so I know that we have legal counsel retained. That may not change her position, but I wanted to respond that this is not to sue, but rather we are needing experts to help us with FEIS and NIPA. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. That clarifying point, I think, is well received, and we're happy to hear it. So thank you for that. If we could, I think we're ready to move on to item number 3. 3 shows us going through the document in its entirety. I don't know that we actually need to do that. I think that we probably need to begin talking about what Mayor Zimmerman offered, which is the potential to go back to the October, the document is dated October 9th, I think, but we presented it at our October 22nd public hearing. And then after that, the document was sent to each agency. So at that point, we want to talk about taking that version of the document and just presenting that as the MOU working group to TPC. And then at that point, this document would guide TPC's review, because we have committed that there will be a quarterly report to TPC about NHHIP progress. So at those quarterly reports on progress, and the TPC would have something that it would use as sort of a guidepost or a litmus to view progress of the project. So open now for discussion about that option.
Madam Chair, I guess I might just offer a question first, having heard Mayor Joe with his suggestion about a resolution without the signature page, going back to the TPC for some form of vote, because I think what we've just heard from Commissioner Bugg sounds like it is a non-starter for what we've discussed at this group for something that the parties would be willing to sign. And I think I've just heard Eliza say that she would be unwilling to sign something unless it includes those things that we feel very important, not to be there. So that's where, as unfortunate as it may seem, the notion of an MOU where it's not an understanding and it's not signed by anybody, I wanted to know how we'd describe this going forward.
At that point, obviously it would not be a memorandum of understanding. It would be the Transportation Policy Council set of guidelines for NHHIP.
Dr. Lewis, if I might.
Yes, please.
Dr. Lewis, I think at that point it would be a resolution from the HGAC Transportation Policy Council, and that resolution would be passed by the Transportation Policy Council. The copy of that resolution, of course, would be passed along to all the parties in the document, but it would not be binding to those parties. It would be binding to all of us as part of HGAC.
Is that something that we could get onto the agenda for the 22nd later this month?
That's a Patrick and Chuck question.
If Chuck is okay, we can.
May I ask a few clarifying questions?
Absolutely.
First of all, would the language of the resolution from HGAC TPC, would it essentially be the October 9th, 2020 version without text dots changes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So it wouldn't have the subjugation to the FEIS, and it wouldn't have the lawsuit language.
No, it would not. It would be the exact document that was distributed to each agency to begin with. So,
okay. And then the other thing I don't like is, I don't like the part of this TPC. Well, I guess what I'm worried about is without interfering with the functionality of NHHIP as part of the interstate system. We added some good language there. Hold on, let me see if it's in here. Yeah, that's something that TxDOT added that is superfluous, and my understanding was they didn't need that as a qualifier, because everybody agrees we ought to consider transit and walkability as feasible. That's not controversial. And so I just thought I thought that extraneous language was some that they could probably live with taking out.
So I think Chair Patman that language would not be there because it was not in our October 9th version. That language came back from TxDOT after October 22nd.
Yeah, okay. Well, but is the provision about considering transit and walkability in there just without the qualifier?
Patrick, you need to scroll down to that for us to look at what is in that version, in that particular section. Are you looking at it, Chair Patman, so you can tell us about where it is?
I don't seem to
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
Yeah, Patrick, can you scroll down so
Scroll
we
down
can,
a little more.
yeah, look at that document?
Yeah, exactly as is. Okay, that looks wonderful. All right, thank you.
Sure, absolutely. So, any other thoughts, questions, concerns?
Madam Chair, just to answer the question earlier, we can easily accommodate this at the next TPC meeting if we take action today.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck. Well, I think having a resolution is better than not having an MOU. I'd rather have an MOU than a resolution, but
Madam Chair, if I might.
Yes, please.
I'll put the motion to the table if it's appropriate to have a resolution prepared. Chuck and his staff prepare a resolution that's consistent with a document dated 10/9. What we received on 10/22, and that document should strike the signatory page and the termination page. It then becomes a document of support from HGAC to all the agencies that are listed.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second. This Commissioner Garcia, I'll second that.
Second from Commissioner Garcia. Any questions, any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And I think we all feel like we actually have a good product here. And I think there's so much value to the bullets that we have under the scope. And I think we'll all really appreciate having that just even as a guidepost, a guideline, sort of a template for the questions we ask as we go through the NHHIP project. This is going to take years. You all know this is going to be years. And that was the value of having something that we could hold in our hands. And so that whether 5 years down the road, I feel certain we'll still be working on NHHIP. HGAC and the Transportation Policy Council's thinking at the time the project was being initiated is there for us to continue to, or whomever is there in the future, for those people to be able to pick up and hold in hand and see what was intended.
Susan Graham has put in the chat, what is the purpose of a resolution? So, I just wanted to answer that. And I think some things have been clarified about that. I mean, my understanding is the resolution is the best we can get. We put a whole lot of work in to get a set of principles. TxDOT just can't agree to some things that are very, very important to, kind of the other parties who would be the parties to the MOU. So TxDOT has indicated its intention it cannot sign the MOU in a form that would be acceptable to the other parties. And so instead, we're going to get a resolution from HGAC that would, be a guideline at least for HGAC in time immemorial as we move forward with the project.
Very good description.
Does that satisfy you, Susan? Will it have any effect on the project?
We hope that it will. I mean,
well, in fairness, I mean, to everything that our regional director and our commissioner, Eliza Paul, and what Commissioner Ryan have said is that they have every intention of working with us.
Right.
And I think that that is a very, that's very promising. You know, it holds us all to a high level of concentration and focus on this project as it goes forward. It requires that the same constituents that have been so keen on us working towards a memorandum of understanding, which I think is embodied very nicely and succinctly in this document. We're going to have to keep working on it together. I know with the language that we've considered, whether it's engineer speak, Eliza, or political speak, or
lawyer speak.
Lawyers speak, thank you, Chair, and you know, design speak from the architect on this group. I want to say we've got a lot to do together to pull this thing off. I think it's a fair expectation for there to be some disappointment, some significant disappointment for the effort that we've put forward, and some of what I think we thought we might have been working on before Christmas. I know I, for one, am somewhat disappointed, but at the same time, I know in my most recent conversation with Eliza, we have got a lot to work on together, and I believe her. I think she is a woman of her word and integrity, and I know Commissioner Ryan stands for goodness and so many positive things for our transportation system. So I think on behalf of the city of Houston, you know, I look forward to coming to some resolution on the 22nd.
And I second all those comments by Councilmember Robinson about Eliza and Commissioner Ryan. I just, we all worked very, very hard. Community activists like Susan and others worked very, very hard all along the way on this, keeping us honest, you know, the community activists did. And we've really developed a very fine document here, whether it's in the form of something everybody signs or whether it's just a set of principles that the HGAC adopts in the form of a resolution. And we've come a really, really long way. And that would not have been possible without the participation of everyone on the committee. But without Eliza, I really don't think anybody's worked harder than Eliza. And she's made a lot of, she's listened to a lot of concerns and made a lot of changes, quite frankly. The problem is if the lawyers got involved. Always messes it up.
That was very well said, Councilmember Robinson and Chair Patman, very well said. And I want to echo that every person who's on this committee has added value and contributed and, you know, really worked hard for us to get to this document. And I think it's something that we see has value. And as Ms. Graham was asking, I think the part of the value in it is that we have it, and it's something that we can hold and go back to and point to. And and once adopted, if you know the Policy Council adopts it later this month, it's in perpetuity. So and we don't have, there is nothing else like it anywhere. So I think that's where it's value. Someone else was going to speak.
Yeah, I was wanting to thank, I just like Karen, I think everybody on this committee has worked extremely hard, you know, everybody, and I don't want to single anybody out, but I do want to single Chairman Ms. Lewis, she and Vice Chairman Joe Zimmerman. I think the two of them has taken the gavel and work on this extremely hard, you know, to try and round us together. You know, we're kind of a rowdy bunch, I think. So, so I think she did a tough job and she did it extremely well. And I think, I mean, even though we did not agree, you know, we agreed to disagree. I think we are in a position that we agree to disagree. But I think this is, hopefully there's a way we can move forward. And our commitment, like we said, our commitment and Commissioner Ryan can speak for us too, that our commitment to look at this project has not changed from day one. And we'll continue to work with everybody, with the public, with everybody to make this job the best job there is. So that commitment has not changed from the day one to now to continue in the future. We will keep doing that with or without the MOU, with or without resolution, with or without this group or not. We'll continue to work with everybody. So I think that commitment is intact and it's there, and TxDOT, and we're going to honor that.
Appreciate that very much, Eliza. Thank you for the compliment. I will tell you though, I feel like I have to volley it back because the chair and vice chair are only as solid as the people working with them. So it's, I couldn't have done it without you all. I do think though that we have really something very exciting in front of us. We're going to end up with a monumental project here that I think is going to set a tone not only for the state but for the nation. I'm really looking forward to what I think is going to come out of all the work that's going to be done in this corridor and the way the work is going to be done. So some folks know that TxDOT is already doing a lot of work, in advance of some of the things that are of concern to folks, in terms of being very sensitive to what has to occur in order for us to move forward with the corridor. And I think it's important for us to not lose fact of the fact that, this is something that needs to be done. And, and I've said to a couple of folks that I don't travel I-45 a lot, but I was on it a little bit before the holidays. And in the section from 610 to downtown, I honestly felt like I had been put in a time capsule and taken back in time. There's no question that we have to go in and upgrade that section for safety reasons and accessibility reasons, and just to sort of bring that more into the 2020s, let alone the 2030s. So, I think whenever we have to do something hard, it's hard. And so we know it's going to be hard, but we can do it. I know that this community can do it. So I'm really looking forward to what happens next. Anything else?
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, absolutely. Commissioner, I'm kind of listening to your voice. Yes, Commissioner Bettendorf.
Want to thank you for your excellent job in leadership. And echo Councilman Robinson's comment earlier. It's disappointing, with all the work that we weren't able to come up with a final product that everybody could sign on to. I know the lawyers got involved, but I think there's also a lot of politics that got involved. But at the end of the day, I hope we don't miss the forest for the trees here. This stretch of roadway has been identified for years and years and years is needing to be improved, and this affects millions of people every year that drive up and down this roadway. I want to, I guess I'll be one of the few. I want to commend TxDOT and Eliza. They kind of get demonized unfairly a lot of times. But you guys do so much for our community and our region. We wouldn't be where we are without you guys. It's not always easy, but I think we came together on this. We did the best we can. I hope the community knows that. But at the end of the day, it's going to take all of us just keeping our word that we're going to work together. We weren't able to sign something, but I have no doubt the parties involved are made up of good folks, and we're going to do the best that we can. So thank all of the committee for the hard work that they've done.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other parting comments? All right, it is 3:44. I will entertain a motion to adjourn if there's nothing additional that we need to cover.
I'll move, Madam Chair.
Second.
Okay, Zimmerman and Chuck Wimple. All in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thanks all. We'll see everybody at the TPC meeting later this month. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Greg. You know, we never, one day, everybody who's not off, we have to acknowledge Greg. He's in the backdrop doing everything he has to do to keep us rolling. So we have to say that one time.
Thank you so much. It's like a one-man band, but you know what? I love it.
Okay, good. Thank you, Greg. All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
I was
Bye.
going to ask Patrick, well, can you send a copy of that? I can't remember what day, October 9 or
9th.
October
Yeah.
version to me, you know, so that just to make sure we know exactly which one we're looking at.
That's a
Yes,
good idea.
I can send that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.